Hello again, friends. Welcome back. My name is Oscar Montesiga. We are at the Uncork Vintage Academia here at the Booze Library, and today I want to bring you an original cocktail. So I'm a certified wine and spirits instructor for the International Wine and Spirits Guild, but also an academic spirits advisor for the Agave Spirits Institute. And I bring you this cocktail that was developed exclusively for the Agave Spirits Institute to share the world of mixology with our master candidates for the Master of Agave Spirits program that we are actually having this month in July, going over to Oaxaca to finish their program. So with the spirit of sharing traditions and culture, and of course part of the Mexican gastronomy, I've developed a few cocktails that I'm sharing with them, and of course you, for your pleasure. So I hope you try it, and of course I welcome your feedback. I'm gonna list the ingredients really quick for you, and as I build the cocktail I'm gonna let you know really how much to use. But this is called Cóctel Poblano, or the Poblano cocktail, and for that reason you're gonna need Ancho Reyes liqueur of the Poblano kind, the green kind. I'm gonna use Mexican Ancestral corn whiskey and Destilado de Pulque. You'll also need a little bit of prickly pear juice and nut bitters, or if you can't find any nutty bitters, then you can use mole bitters. You're also going to need a fresh lime, and I got a little bit of agave nectar and a little bit of a specialty salt. I recommend trying to find Sal de Gusano, an agave larva or an agave worm salt. It's sea salt with ground up worm, or another specialty Mexican salt like a Sal de Chicatana or Sal de Chapulines. I think that covers all the ingredients, but let's start building your cocktail. So really, into my shaker I'm gonna combine my wet ingredients first, and I'm really gonna start with half an ounce of agave nectar. And in it goes. And I'm using the agave nectar first just because of that thick syrupy viscosity that's gonna remain in my jigger for a minute. So next I'm gonna, wash it off with a few of my liquid ingredients. So next I want to use 1 ounce of prickly pear juice into the shaker. If you don't find prickly pear juice, potentially you may want to use a prickly pear puree. However, the purees tend to be sweeter, so you may want to avoid or skip using the agave nectar if you're using puree. So I have 1 ounce of prickly pear juice. Next, my Ancho Reyes liqueur, the Poblano kind, I'm gonna use half an ounce as well. Half an ounce of the green Ancho Reyes liqueur, and then 1 ounce of ancestral corn whiskey. This is Mexican whiskey from a single barrel from black native corn. You can use blue corn, red corn, white corn, yellow corn, as long as you find a Mexican ancestral corn variety. And lastly, I have Destilado de Pulque. I'm going to use 1.5 ounces, so this is really the main base of the cocktail. The Destilado de Pulque, and pulque is quite traditional to be drank, pulque as it is, in the region near Puebla. So there you have it for wet ingredients. 1.5 Destilado de Pulque, and in case you're wondering what pulque really is, when you have this agave plant, the maguey, you will usually scrape the center, the core. You obviously cut some leaves and you make like a plain sort of environment in the middle. You scrape it, and aguamiel, which is the nectar of the agave or the sap, it will collect there, and you can definitely just drink that as a sweetener. It is a naturally sweet sap that we've been using for millennia as a sweetener, as a food source. But if you let that aguamiel ferment, then that becomes pulque. So pulque is the fermented aguamiel from agave. Alright, 1 ounce again of the ancestral corn whiskey. I used Sierra Norte single barrel black corn. And then your Ancho Reyes liqueur, the green kind, the Poblano, it was ½ ounce. I use ½ ounce of the Agave Nectar and 1 ounce of the prickly pear juice. I'm missing one more wet ingredient, that's going to be my lime juice. So I have a fresh lime. However, before I juice it, I want to take a nice round peel or swath of that lemon skin. I'm going to reserve that for my garnish. Okay. So after that, you want half a lime, just half a lime, and you want that juice and express it into your wet ingredients. Alright. So all wet ingredients are there. What I'm also missing, you're gonna need a dozen, 6, 10, 12, 20 dried chile seeds, and that'll just give a little bit more spice to the cocktail. So throw those in there. Lastly, I'm using the nut bitters. Again, if you don't have nut bitters, you can use mole bitters. A few dashes. Don't be afraid to season your cocktail. That's part of your seasoning. You're gonna use bitters to elevate the aromatic influence of your cocktail. Lastly, you're gonna use just a pinch of the Sal de Gusano, and that is your specialty salt, Sal de Gusano. Really, I have all the ingredients I need, and I'm gonna shake. So in my shaker, I already have ice. I'm gonna combine with the wet ingredients and shake to wake it up. You don't want to put it to sleep. Something I did forget to mention is that this cocktail is going to be served straight and up. So you want to get it as cold as you can. I have a coupe that I was resting with ice and water. And so you want a chill coupe, your chill serving glass where you're going to serve this cocktail up. Because you want to retain the liquid as cold as you can. And lastly, before you pour your drink, you're going to garnish your coupe with another specialty salt if you have it. Oh, sorry. So in order for me to get salt around the rim, I'm going to use the express lime, the half lime that I used earlier. I'm going to wet the outside there. And now we can put in some pretty salt garnish. And so my garnish as a salt, I'm using Sal de Chapulin, a grasshopper salt. So this salt is sea salt with ground chapulin and a little bit of smokiness, smoky spices in there. You can use the same Sal de Gusano if that's all you have. You can use scorpion salt or an ant salt. Alright, so the coupe is chilled and garnished. And the cocktail is as cold as it's gonna get. You're gonna strain, simple strain where you're not gonna worry about double straining necessarily. Because if any seeds get into the cocktail, it's just part of the garnish. It's letting you know that there is some heat to that cocktail, right? Alright, and lastly, to garnish, that little bit of lemon rind or zest that I got earlier from my lime, you're going to express it, express the last oils of it, and twist, 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 and let it float. That green will give you a little bit of contrast with a little bit of the orangey copper hues that the prickly pear juice combined with the green, and of course the barrel age. So it looks a little coppery, and the green will give you a contrast. So what I did today is basically made you a cold soup. If you think of these ingredients as a base for a spirit, I mean, they are very much culinary traditions. We have corn, we have pulque, we have chili, we have nuts, we have salt, we have prickly pear, agave nectar. So I combine a lot of ingredients, even in my salt, the chapulines, which, you know, in Mexico they're a gastronomic snack from ancestral times. We've been eating chapulines for millennia, or grasshoppers. So I combine a culinary tradition of Mexican traditional dishes into the Cóctel Poblano, and I hope you like it. Cheers, salud. That is quite fantastic. Refreshing. And again, you can treat it as a cold soup if you want to play it as one of your courses during a pairing dinner, if you wish. But it's also a great aperitif, something to start a meal with. It's got great acidity, savoriness that will lead you into cuisine. But also if you want to pair it with some traditional dishes. So anything from ceviche and aguachile, from fried fish, from mole poblano, or some Swiss enchiladas. I think it's going to be a very, very nice pairing cocktail for a lot of Mexican traditional dishes. Or again, you can play it as a soup or as an aperitif. And if you watch another video with another ASI original cocktail, there is another take on this cocktail using the Ancho Reyes liqueur with Ancho Chile, the red version. That is a little spicier, so also you can cater to your guest, whether you want to give them something quite mild yet savory, or something spicier and savory like the Cóctel Zapoteco that I created. So make sure you watch that episode. Please, if you make any of these cocktails, I am eager to hear your feedback and say what you think. But it's been fun creating this cocktail and bringing Mexican traditions, bringing Mexican culinary traditions to a single cocktail, which I hope you get to try. Please shoot me any questions about the cocktail or about the Agave Spirits Institute if you are wanting to become a trained Mezcal specialist, a Mezcal sommelier, or an Agave Spirits advisor, or like our students heading down to Oaxaca to become masters of Agave Spirits. And in this week-long seminar as our capstone for the program, students spending a week in Oaxaca doing hands-on mixology workshop training, sommelier training, going out to the fields to harvest agave, to replant agave. They're also doing microbiology, fermentation, and distillation workshops, as well as gastronomy workshops, as well as art, cult, history, anthropology seminars, to be immersed in the world of Oaxaca and Agave Spirits in general. So shoot me a question if you have anything that you'd like to know more about that program. I look forward to hear back from you. And again, I hope you enjoy this cocktail. It's beautiful, refreshing, delicious, and complex. So, cheers, amigo. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe so you can stay tuned to our next cocktail, which we have more coming shortly. Pleasure having you. Cheers.